You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 22nd day of May, 2026. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first broadcast is our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking your 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us at the top of the hour, he'll walk you through step by step. It'll take you about 3 minutes. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially begin Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when we go to work. And it'll run all the way through next Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, this broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward, every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you got to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into the platform. Benefit of doing it that way, you immediately have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you do want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 3,000 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more, a lot more. And obviously you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. But if you're new, it's a great resource to have at your fingertips because it allows you to see how we've evolved over all these years, day by day by day. youtube.com/CFRN. As I mentioned, Michael will join us at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, for a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room, and then do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. But we'll start where we always do with the afternoon broadcast, and that's our daily devotional. The topic we're on right now, everyday faith. Today's scripture, John 6:68, and I'm sharing it from the NIV translation. Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. Again, that's John 6, verse 68. Jesus said things that confused the crowd. Many who had followed him turned back. The atmosphere shifted from enthusiasm to departure. It became clear that following him would not always be reasonable or safe. Jesus turned to the 12 and asked if they would leave as well. Peter's response, "Lord, to whom shall we go? Or if we don't follow you, where should we go?" He did not claim full understanding. He did not say the path was easy. He simply knew there was no alternative that carried life. He had heard words that cut deep into his soul. He had seen authority that could not be faked. Something in him became convinced in Jesus. Following Jesus narrows the field. There may be seasons when his words confront rather than comfort. Moments where obedience costs everything. Once Christ has become real, lesser options lose their power. Other choices you may make distract for a moment. They may provide temporary relief. But in the end, there is no substance, no sustenance, no life. Peter's statement was a realization that Jesus was it. To whom shall we go? That question still stands. When faith feels tested, when culture offers easier paths, when compromise seems practical, when doubt whispers that another way might be simpler, if he alone has the words of eternal life, then departure is not freedom, it is loss. The opposite of life is death. So my question for you, when following Jesus becomes difficult, where are you tempted to look for substitutes? Maybe at the bar? Maybe the crack house? I don't know. Maybe binging Netflix. Maybe sports is your escape. I can't answer that question for you. Only you can. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, our prayer today is that you would steady our loyalty. When we do not understand, keep us anchored in what we know to be true about you. Guard our heart from wandering toward what cannot give us life. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen and happy Friday. Everybody's been working for the weekend, and here it is. Got big plans. It's a long weekend. We won't be here Monday. It's a holiday. And you know, the U.S. markets typically rally into a U.S. holiday weekend. So we'll see. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Then we'll take a peek at the news. Then we'll go to the alerts and the charts, and then it'll be time for Michael to join us. Currently, starting in the U.S. with the cash markets or the indices, the Dow is up 396 points. NASDAQ up 159. S&P 500 up 45. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, up 26. That's almost 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 77 cents. trading 97.29 last. That's a gain of almost 1%. Gold down $23.60, trading 45.19 last. Silver down 48 cents, trading 76.25 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 1,654 points, almost 2.75%. Shanghai rose 35, almost 1%. The Hang Seng gained 219, almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 22. The DAX up 321. That's well over 1.25%. And the CAC up 29. So that gives us a green day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it is a green Radio Friday here in the US of A. And in keeping with historical tradition, it looks like we very well may rally into the close. Turning to the news. SpaceX today will attempt to launch an uncrewed test flight of Starship version 3, its largest and most powerful rocket yet. The announcement comes after the company canceled a planned test flight yesterday at the last minute. The Elon Musk-owned company is competing with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin to create the spacecraft that will carry NASA astronauts to the moon's surface, a mission currently planned for 2028. SpaceX launched a combined 11 test flights of its first and second Starship versions from April 23 to October of 2025, with mixed results. Version 3, which features lighter engines, will deploy 22 mock satellites and relight an engine in space before splashing into the Indian Ocean. Musk ultimately aims to make Starship fully reusable and catch it with mechanical arms, a feat that would dramatically reduce launch costs. Test flight comes days after SpaceX confirmed plans to go public next month, with a potentially record-setting valuation between $1.75 and $2 trillion. Potentially the largest IPO in history. I think I got another article in the queue here about that canceled flight. We'll see. The ringleader of a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme in Minnesota, Amy Bach, was sentenced to over 41 years in prison yesterday. Bach siphoned off more than $240 million in pandemic-era food assistance via her Feeding Our Future network. Officials have called the scheme the U.S.'s largest case of pandemic-era fraud collectively. The amount of stolen taxpayer money, including Bach's food aid scheme, daycares, and other social service programs, reportedly exceeds $1 billion. Citing the fact that most of the defendants are of Somali descent, President Donald Trump launched an immigration enforcement operation this year that led to the deaths of 2 U.S. citizens. Well, they shouldn't have been out there. I'm sorry. It's a tragedy anytime a life is lost. But when you get in the way of government officials who are simply doing their job, bad things can happen. I would like to think that people had learned a lesson from that. Apparently they haven't. Isn't that a shame? More than 100 people have been indicted so far in ongoing investigations. That includes the 15 people charged yesterday for allegedly defrauding more than $90 million, much of it from Medicaid via autism and home health clinics. They were billing the government for services that were never rendered, and that money that they used to buy real estate and luxury cars and just live a high lifestyle, it never made it to the children who actually had autism, the families who had no food on the table. It's disgusting. Eli Lilly has said its experimental obesity drug, Reatritude, helped patients lose up to 30% of their body weight after 80 weeks in a phase 3 trial. Results approaching those seen with bariatric surgery. Now, bariatric surgery, I'm going to tell you from personal experience, people I know in my own life, they had this, what I call or think of as very dangerous surgery, and a couple years later, they're as big or bigger than they were before they had the surgery, and they've been miserable the whole time. In the study of 2,339 adults with obesity or overweight related conditions, patients receiving the highest dose lost an average of 28% of their body weight, or about 70 pounds. About 65% taking the highest dose achieved a body mass index below 30. That's the threshold for obesity. The intervention may prove helpful in severe cases of obesity, surpassing what can be treated by existing weight loss drugs. However, some participants dropped out, citing severe gastrointestinal side effects. About 1/3 experienced nausea or diarrhea, or feeling they had lost too much weight. Unlike existing obesity injections, Reatritude targets 3 hormone pathways: GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. The study has not been peer-reviewed or approved by the FDA yet. So, if this thing gets approved by the FDA, good or not, there's going to be a huge spike in price. So it's probably one to watch. Eli Lilly. Moving on. Kevin Warsh officially assumes office today as the 17th chair of the Federal Reserve, succeeding the worst Fed governor in history, Jerome Powell. We'll never have to say his name again. IBM surged over 11% yesterday following a landmark announcement by the U.S. Commerce Department detailing a $2 billion CHIPS and Science Act initiative to fund domestic quantum computing firms. The move added about $26 billion to IBM's market cap, bringing it up to $237.8 billion. Shares continued their rally on Friday with a pre-market gain of 3%, and currently IBM is up $4.14 a share, a little over 1.5%. Gas prices in all 50 states, including across the oil-rich Gulf Coast and Permian Basin region, are sitting above $4 a gallon as drivers prepare to head into Memorial Day weekend. The national U.S. average was $4.56 per gallon yesterday, up 43% from a year ago and 13% higher than a month ago, according to AAA. California, which relies heavily on fuel imports and has high taxes and fees, has already topped $6 a gallon. Other western regions remain well above the national average, and even the Gulf Coast states sit above the $4 mark. States such as Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma are typically among the last to experience sharp price increases because they sit at the center of the U.S. refining and oil production system. President Trump has already told us when this business in Iran is over, crude and gas is going to drop like a rock. Amazon executive chairman Jeff Bezos, by some estimates the world's fourth wealthiest person, has turned the tables on the tax the rich effort. He is advocating for eliminating federal income taxes for lower income Americans. In an interview on Wednesday with CNBC, Bezos reflected on his upbringing as the son of a Cuban immigrant and a teenage mother who brought themselves up during hard times. I want to make sure that the people who are struggling today have a chance to do that too, to bring themselves up. And maybe they're going to be the next Steve Jobs. Maybe one of their kids will be the next Steve Jobs. I don't know. But we can give them a better chance by eliminating their tax bill. Now, this is groundbreaking. While Bezos also argued that raising taxes on the wealthy will do little to help struggling households, efforts to tax high earners continue to gain traction. New York City's communist mayor, Zohran Mamdani, launched a pied-à-terre tax on luxury second homes of wealthy property owners who don't live in the city full-time. About half a dozen or more states are considering so-called wealth taxes as well. Bezos said that the top 1% of earners pay 40% of all taxes, while the bottom half of earners pay only 3% of all tax revenue. A nurse in Queens who makes $75,000 a year pays more than $12,000 a year in taxes. Does that really make sense? How about we start by having the nurse in Queens not pay taxes? That's $1,000 a month that could help with rent or groceries or anything. The bottom half of income earners in this country pay only 3% of the taxes. It's only 3%. We can find 3%, Bezos said. So this is what he is proposing. And if Trump latches onto this, it could actually happen in our lifetime. Maybe this year. About 76 million households paid no federal income tax in 2025, according to the Tax Policy Center. 70% earned less than $75,000 and 45% earned less than $40,000. Many taxpayers use the standard deduction as well as other exclusions and credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit, to reduce their tax liability. So what Bezos wants to do is, if you make $75,000 or less per year, no taxes. Zero. And I really hope this gains traction. You know, both the Democrats and the Republicans say they're trying to look out for the middle class, right? But yet the middle class is the one that gets punished. If you increase the taxes on the top 1%, that's not going to take any cheese off their macaroni, is it? But the example he used, a nurse in Queens earning 75 grand a year, which that's not exactly chump change. But imagine if she no longer had to pay any taxes. Again, we're only talking about 3% of the tax revenue. That's what the bottom half of earners pay. So let's do it. Remember the old Campbell Soup commercials? It's good. Well, Campbell Soup stock has not been this low in over 30 years. Stock's down about 19% since the company reported earnings in March. Only General Mills, ConAgra, and McCormick have performed worse since the Campbell Company's last earnings report. They've declined 21%, 24%, and 26% respectively. Campbell's had a dreadful quarter. Net sales dropped 5% year over year to $2.56 billion, under the estimated $2.64 billion. Consumers pulled back on discretionary snack purchases. The core meals and beverages segment grappled with lower demand for traditional condensed soups. Now we're running out of time here, so this one's probably worth talking about. A neglected part of downtown Chicago is perking up as Alphabet redevelops a 1980s vintage building designed to house legions of state government workers. Startups and other small companies have been snapping up space in the LaSalle Corridor District, which once served as the city's financial center and as the backdrop for movies from The Dark Knight to The Untouchables. The catalyst, the renovation of the James R. Thompson Center, where Alphabet's Google plans to start moving workers next year. Now, the CEO of Zappos did this in Las Vegas a number of years ago. They have what they call Old Las Vegas. He moved his company there, and then he began to renovate Old Town Vegas. I think that's what they call it, Old Town Vegas. And it's not Old Town anymore. It is the hottest part of Vegas, aside from the Strip. I mean, there's arts, there's dining, there's, sidewalk cafes, and semi-affordable housing. I don't know if there's any affordable housing left. So, about chasing away businesses and wealthy residents. But the attitude adjustment may be too little, too late. Just a few weeks ago, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson infamously giggled when asked if she was concerned about wealthy residents fleeing Seattle because of her policies. I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown. And if the ones that leave, bye. She was speaking at Seattle University, and that comment received tremendous applause. This flippant attitude towards a potential wealth exodus was remarkably foolish. Businesses and the rich were already leaving Seattle, but hitting the accelerator on leftist policies is causing a full-blown economic meltdown. The result will be a loss of hundreds of millions, likely even billions of dollars in future tax revenue. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that a political program based on taxing the rich doesn't even begin to work if there are few rich to tax. It's a whole problem with socialism and communism, is you run out of other people's money to give away. In November, Wilson stepped into a labor dispute between Starbucks and its employees, saying that she was proud to join the picket line. "I am not buying Starbucks, and you should not either," she said. That didn't go well with Starbucks management, which has announced plans to effectively leave the state of Washington. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz even took the pages of the Wall Street Journal to blast city and state leaders for making a bad situation worse. This is just the beginning of the exodus. You know what? Once they all move out, you and I can go there and scoop up some bargains. What do you think? Join me? Last on the news front, an autopsy of the 2024 election commissioned by the Democratic National Committee leaked Thursday. It is, in a word, garbage. The postmortem, first published by CNN, elides honest self-evaluation for sloppy conclusions and self-congratulation. At times, it seems Democrats are trying to win arguments while Republicans are focused on winning elections. Democrats operate in an ecosystem defined by reason, even in cycles when the electorate is defined by rage. This highlights a fundamental and necessary truth. A brutal and efficiently delivered message will frame the choice for voters and help actually win the election. Yeah, Democrats are the party of reason. Recall former Vice President Kamala Harris's insight into the significance of the passage of time. Remember, time passes because it's the passage of time. It's a dumpster fire. Yep. Yep. All right. Let's go Logic 247. And by the grace of God, another good week so far. We are in week 407. Over the last 407 weeks, we've issued over 22,300 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out, based simply on market structure, and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. This week, since the markets opened Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, I normally start Sunday night, but I had platform issues. I hope that doesn't happen again this weekend, but we'll see. Anyway, since the markets opened Sunday night, I pushed out a total of 56 alerts. At the time Valerie did the recap this morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, we were still waiting on 13. And I don't know if we're going to see any more of those trigger because they're probably shorts and the markets are rallying. So 43 actionable alerts, 3 stop outs, 7%. The purpose of the Logic 247 alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart. Yes, of course, you can trade them, but make sure you use them for the reason intended, to learn to read the chart. You got to know where to anticipate potential resistance, where to anticipate potential support. In doing so, you're able to find the windows of opportunity where you'll find your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, an initial target, in most cases additional targets, and then a final trade to target. If you never actually trade a logic alert, use them for the purpose intended, to learn to read the chart. I don't care what you trade or how you trade it. Those are good numbers. And there is no holy grail, by the way. I know a couple weeks ago it was a fluke. We had a week with 0 stopped out, but I mean, that's over 7.5 years. What we've averaged over 7.5 years is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out. Again, based just on simple market structure. Now, I did post this morning. Where is that? Here it is. Now, I wonder if I can do this. Probably not. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, this morning, now, those of you that follow the discussion group, you know that we're working on a new interface for the Logic 247 alerts. Yesterday, I posted a mock-up in the discussion group, and I even created a new channel in Telegram. If you need access to it, let me know. Let me show you what it looks like, I think. Maybe I closed that link. Where'd it go? All right, anyway. This morning, the idea was to consider buying 75.05 with an initial target at 75.07, potential resistance at 75.09. The final trade to target 75.14/15, stop loss 74.98. This is what the chart looked like when I put that out. Then we reached the initial target, 75.07. Then we reached the second target or potential resistance at 75.09. And then I published the swing high so far, 75.09 1/4. Potential profit so far, 212.50 per contract traded. 75.10.50 swing high so far. And then final trade to target at the weekly trading zone was reached. Trade complete. Minimum drawdown. Minimal. That was the right word. So the swing high was 75.15 1/4, which was the weekly trading zone. 75.14/15, which was published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. So the potential profit in the trade was 10 1/4 points, or $512.50 per contract traded. Now, I'm going to feed this information. Yesterday, the information I fed into the app was a stop out. This one actually did what we had hoped it would do. I'm going to feed that information into the app, and I'm going to provide you with a mock-up of that in the new channel that I created. Okay, it's called Logic 247 Discussion Group. And this is where I'm relying on your feedback so that I can get this thing right. I want to provide you what you need, not what I want to give you, what you need. So let me see if I can drag this back down without destroying anything. It did. Oh, and there's the link I was looking for. Huh. Okay, let's see if we can do it again. This is what yesterday's looked like. The trade was stopped out. You could have tracked it live on our X channel. We're at CFRN. If you don't follow us there, start following us there. You'll see more and more of these. This is how Logic 247 was born. I put out the Logic 2. They didn't even have a name back then. I just put out the alerts in what used to be called Twitter. And if you scroll far enough in our channel, you'll see them. I mean, that was a lot of years ago. But this was stopped out. It's considered buying 74.36 on a pullback, targeting 74.39 with a 74.33 stop loss. The stop was hit first, so the trade is recorded as a loss. So I've given you guys the link to get to this in the discussion group. Now I have fed and coded the information for today's trade. So I will update that and put it in there for you guys to have a close look at. So back to this, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. Now, 407 weeks, we know is a long time, 7.5 years. But many years before we introduced Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're different in a lot of different ways. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'll just say this. They don't come out around the clock. They're typically posted 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open each evening, 5:55 p.m. Eastern. So what that means, the Friday session started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. But all of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before the market opened. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. Now we're going to go through the individual charts, individual markets. You'll see these drawn out. Just remember, our members had them 5 minutes before the market opened. That's key. Okay, so now we can go to the chart. Start with the bellwether, the S&P 500 E-mini futures, where we are off the high of the session a little bit. High of the session so far, 75.16 and a quarter. So we actually went up one more point than that trade that I had given you, which was good for 10.5 points, I think it was. The black step line once again crossed blue and climbing, and we've still failed to get the pull back to the BBC. Now, this is a market running on fumes, okay? This is unnatural. This is unnatural. Maybe we make a run at the all-time historic high, 75.40. Today's high, 75.16 and a quarter. The next major obstacle overhead is 75.28 and a quarter. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. The takeaway is the pull back to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Just like on that trade this morning, that was the reason for that trade. We got the pullback in the room. I said, guys, we're about to run into resistance overhead at the weekly zone, 75.14/15, and we did. I said, now it looks like we're going to get a pull back to the BBC, and we did. And then it was in this candle right here that I put out that alert. To be long, 75.05 up to 75.07 with potential resistance at 75.09 and a final trade to target of 75.14/15. The actual high was 75.15 and a quarter. Oh, this was yeah, okay, so that's as far as it went, that trade. The high of the session came in earlier. Now, this is important. The fact that we came so close to taking out the high of the session, again, 75.16 and a quarter, and the trade that I gave you guys on X, 75.15 and a quarter. So we came within a point of taking out the high of the session. Now the step line is crossing blue and climbing. So that means we should get a retracement back to the BBC. That could be the high of the session. The vertical lines separate today Friday from yesterday Thursday. Back here is Wednesday. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. We've published the zones every Monday for our members for over 16 years, since December 14th of 2009. Once the zones are published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. The idea is when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. We never made it down to this zone this week, I don't believe. Nope, we sure didn't. It's kind of been a slow grind up. This was the opening candle last night. Now remember, our members had these targets 5 minutes before the open. We hit the long target at 8 p.m. Eastern during the 8 p.m. 30-minute candle. So the open last night, we're above the BBC, so we expect higher prices. So we opened last night at 74.67, and we ran up 19 points to the long target. So we had a leg and a retracement, the pullback hill. Then we had a leg and a retracement. The pullback hill, but right here was a head fake. We had a candle both open and close below the BBC. That's an indication lower prices are coming. But the historical fundamental fact about markets rallying into a holiday weekend kicked into gear, and we ran right up to the weekly trading zone. Now there's still zones above that. I think there's 2. Yep, still 2 more zones overhead. We won't see those this week. Question is are we going to make one more push this high? And until we take out that high, you can forget the next zone, which is 100 points higher. So right now I should be looking for retracement back to the BBC. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night. And by 7:30, we hit the long target. We opened at 50,402. And so from 402, we ran to 465. 63 points. You only need 20 points to get your goal for the day. Now, when price trades through a CTA long target, often on the pullback, the top side of the long target will become support. Same's true when we trade through a short target. The pullback, the underside will often become resistance. But the pullback to the BBC held, and it held, and it held, and it held, and it held. And now we're getting ready to make a run at the high of the session. And those are all-time historic highs you're looking at. The Russell. Here's where we opened last night. And by the 8 o'clock 30-minute candle, that's where we hit the long target. We opened at, we'll call it 48, and ran 9 points to 57. We ran further, but look where the market found resistance. At the weekly trading zone. The long target was simply based off this high from yesterday. We pulled back to the BBC. We got below it. It looked like we were heading lower. And then in comes the cavalry. And there's the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street. Typically the largest candle of the day, but the following one was even bigger. And look where we pulled back to. The weekly trading zone, the BBC, top side of the long target. Step line is cross blue and climbing. Should see a retracement. But this whole day could just become one big rally. The NQ. Yesterday we found support at the zone, support at the zone, support at the zone. And then we had a leg and a retracement. Pullback held. Now look at these from below. Pullback held, pullback held. But eventually it'll trade through. And when it does, leg retracement, pullback held. Leg retracement, pullback held. Leg retracement, pullback held till it didn't hold. Head fake on it, each of these markets. So in that kind of a situation, you're looking left to see where you should go short. The low of this candle was 399. So you'd be looking for an entry around 385. Price never got down there. Price has to take out this low before it can get to this low. And that's all you're looking for, is just that little window of opportunity right there. Get your goal for the day and go do life. So we get back above the BBC, we get a leg and a retracement, pull back holds, a leg and a retracement. Now again, these are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Here they are yesterday, doing their job, working as support, and here they are today, doing their job, acting as resistance. Crude oil. Here's where we opened last night. We had a leg and a retracement, the pullback held. And then a leg where we did not put in a lower low. So we got above the BBC and we hit the target to the tick. Resistance always sends a market to support. Support sends a market looking for resistance. Back to support, back to resistance. Now the long target is based on this bearish cross. That's yesterday where the red line got below the green line. When that happens, it's called a bearish cross. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. And it was. If you remember and you're not using this, man, now I'm not saying it works 100% of the time, nothing does. 8 out of 10. I can live with that. So from resistance, we got to go find support. Where do we find it? Well, we spiked the short target and hit the zone. Support bounced us up to resistance at the BBC. Pulled back, held and held and held. Now it looks like we're heading lower to once again challenge the short target, the zone, perhaps lower. There is another zone down below. Might be two more. Yep. Now, with the weekly zones, we're not saying price is going to hit the highest zone or price is going to hit the lowest zone. What we're doing is we're creating a playing field, okay? We do not expect price to close above the highest zone at the end of the week or below the lowest zone. But as the week progresses, we know where to expect potential resistance, where to expect potential support. Make it as simple as we can. Here's gold. Gold came out of the gate last night and dropped below the BBC. So we had a leg and a retracement, the pullback held. Then a leg and a retracement, and 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 the pullback held. So we definitely hit the short target, and the low, it's this low from yesterday. I pegged it right here where red turns to blue. This low yesterday was 88.3, and today's low was 88.0. So we missed it by the reticks. Yesterday's low. That's market structure. It's really that simple. Last but not least, silver. Good Lord, silver getting tore up here. Came out of the gate last night, dropped to the BBC, did some consolidating. Now this high right here failed to take out that high. That's a sign of weakness. And it sent us almost all the way down to the short target, which was based on right here where red turned to blue. We got close. Now silver looks like it's trying to recover. Unfortunately, you got to move up, and now you got a bearish engulfing candle. That could definitely lead to another leg to the downside. And we're back to the S&P daily. Still off the high of the session. Still trying to overcome that weekly trading zone at 75.14/15. All right, Michael will be here in a few minutes. To become a member get a hold of Valerie. You can call her at 949-42-EMINI. You can email her support@cfrn.net. However you get a hold of her, just let her know you're interested in becoming a member. She'll send you all the information you need to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not what we do is right for you. Once you become a member, you get 2 hours of live training every trading day. And that's important because 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. I know you've bought a lot of indicators, you've bought a lot of oscillators, but have you ever had anybody actually sit down with you and teach you how to trade? Probably not. On top of the 2 hours of group training every day, you get private one-on-one mentoring. No extra charge, all you got to do is ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs, it doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. Never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. As a passport holder, you'll get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. The concierge trade alerts every evening, typically 5 minutes before the Globex open. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. Then every Thursday night, you're able to attend the members-only workshop at 8 p.m. Eastern. Last but not least, you get the weekly trading zones. Not the weekly trading zones. You get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. There's quite a few. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Now, Michael should be here in 2 minutes. Let's jump into our good word for the day. He's the God of new beginnings. Whoever turns a sinner from the error of their way will save them. James 5:20. Our God is the God of new beginnings. The Bible says, whoever turns a sinner from the error of their way will save them from death and cover a multitude of sins. It's never too late for a new beginning. And what's even more remarkable is that God uses people like us to help others find a new beginning. The Bible contains many accounts of men and women who got a second chance and, by God's grace, used it well. Like Peter, who denied Jesus but went on to become a leader in the New Testament church. Or David, who committed adultery and murder. Yet his Psalms are a major part of the most quoted book in the Bible. And what about Jonah? He got a do-over. The word of the Lord came to Jonah the second time. Jonah 3:1. Sin can wreck hearts, homes, plans, and people. But the good news of the gospel is that sin can never keep God from loving or reaching for us. And we should never stop loving and reaching for others. Galatians 6:1. If a man is overtaken in any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness. The Greek word for restore is a medical term that means to set a broken bone. When a doctor resets a broken bone, he realigns it and then puts it in a cast for about 6 weeks. During that time, God does the actual healing. Your job is to find the broken people in your life who need a second chance and then help them restore it. And that's our good word for the day. And we're waiting on Michael. He'll be here in a minute. I was eating a papaya the other day, and I realized that there's a lot of seeds in one of those things. So I took some outside and found some little container, and I pushed a few seeds down into the ground, and I've watered it daily. And the other day, Now, I did all that I could do, okay? I dried out the seeds first. I got some good soil. I put it in a good pot. I put the seeds down in the soil. My work's done. That's where God takes over. My heart leapt 2 days ago when I went out and looked. I got little papayas coming up. Well, someday there'll be big papaya trees or whatever. Now that I'm into it, I got to look it up. And Michael said he'll be here in a minute. He'll be coming around the mountain in a minute. If you didn't get that link in Telegram, the link's in the discussion group. It's called Logic 247 2.0. But you need the link to get in, and that's in the members only discussion group and the trial discussion group. And it looks like this.
Okay.
Hey, there he is.
Made it. Sorry. Did you get my message? I sent you a message in Telegram.
I did.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like, guys. Logic 247 2.0. Okay. All right. Well, we're ready for you.
All right. Let me grab it and bring it over here. And I updated the page, so it's got next week's stuff on it.
All right, good.
And it's all ready to go.
Okay, looks good.
All right. Here we go. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 22nd day of May, 2026. I actually even updated this page too, Dwayne. Look. It says 1 o'clock there. Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for this trial. Once you click on that, it will bring you to this registration page. Now on this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. And down at the bottom, gives you TradingView login ID and click register. Okay, when you hit that register button, we will know, as long as you give us a proper TradingView login ID, we'll be able to get your indicators indicating for you on your desktop. Okay, indicating for you on your desktop. And yeah, and that's where you want them. So you'll be able to follow along with us during all the trading that we do in the meeting, in the training webinars. All right, so a recap of today. We did not have a great day today. We had an okay day, but compared to yesterday, it was just bad. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures out the bottom. Today's the 22nd day of May, 2026, and we made 105 ticks on the NQ. We lost 44 on the Russell. We made 0 on the YM and 11 on the ES. That put us at 442.5 on the morning session. That's with one contract. Over 23. I'm sorry. That's today. Today it took 23 minutes and 6 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $3,100 with 10 contracts. And it took a total of 21 trades with 5 stop outs today. So our averages, as far as stop outs go, the last couple of days have not been great, but the profits have. So that's good. On the month now, we're at $9,937 over 15 trading days, averaging $662 per contract per 2-hour trading day. The year now, we're at $88,990 over 85 trading days, averaging $1,046 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, the 24/20 blueprint, if you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work 12.91 hours if you did everything exactly the same as I did, and you get the same exact slippage and all that stuff, which is impossible. You would be up $36,482. Now you should actually get better fills and all that, because if you're trading fewer contracts than I am, I'm trading 10. But if you're trading 5, then you could get pretty close to the same slippage. You could get better slippage, could get worse. But if you're not as distracted as I am, you may be getting all the trades, so your results should actually be better than mine, probably. Anyway, the average over your 12.91 hours, almost 13 hours of trading, is $2,824 per hour. Okay. Now, let's get into the trades that we actually did do. We'll start out with the Russell. We only had a few trades on the Russell today. Here they were. All of them right here. We started out with the first trade on the Russell was a +6, then we stopped out, put us at -19, and then we stopped out again, and that put us at -44. That was our whole day on the Russell. Okay, it was not a banner day for the Russell today. YM was better than yesterday. It was better than yesterday. We started out here on the YM with a +6. No, I'm sorry, we started with a +19. I'm sorry, we had a +19. Then we stopped out Yes, it was a +19. And then we stopped out and that put us at -6. It's just the opposite of the Russell. With the YM, we had +19, then a -6. And with the Russell, we had a +6 and then a -19. That's why it was throwing me off. I'm looking at these two rows of data. So we ended up with a -19 right there. I'm sorry, -6 right there. And then we picked up 6 here that got us to 0. And that was it. I'm glad we were off of that one. That was confusing. The ES, we had a trade right at the very end of the session, right here. This one right at the end of the session. I don't think I put an arrow on that one. We picked up 8 ticks on that. Is that what we got? 1 tick? 8 ticks, I think. 10 ticks, right? What did we end up? We ended with 11 on the SCS. It was 10 ticks. So that gives us 11 there. Okay. All right. So let's go back here for a second. All right, on the ES, we started off with a -8, so it's over here. All right, on this one right here, somehow I ended up stopping out on that. I got a really bad fill and I ended up stopping out. That's why I have it as an orange. I should have made profit on that, but I ended up stopping out. That put us at -8. The next trade right here, we got +10. That put us at +2 overall. We would have had the goal for it. I think that actually is where we got the goal for it. We had a break even in there. Then we stopped out again. That put us back down to -8. And then we had a +4 there that got us to -4. Another +4 that got us to 0. A +1 that got us to 1. And a +10 that got us to +11. And that was it for the ES today. Okay. The NQ. The NQ, let's see. On the NQ. Our first trade here on the NQ, we picked up 12 ticks there. And then the next trade, this one over here, we picked up 50 ticks on it, but it didn't come off the mid band right there. That's why it's got the wrong color. I thought it did, but it didn't. And that got us actually 51 ticks, got us to 63. Then we had 9 there that got us to 70, actually 8 that got us to 71. And then we went to 85, and from 85 we went to 95, and 95, somewhere in there, there's another 10 ticks. We went from 95 to 105. I had drawn all this stuff in here when I crunched it all up. When we were down here, I was saying it needs to pull back to, I was saying this level right here, pull back into this level and create the channel, because what we had was this, we had the higher highs and lower lows, we had a bugle. And so to get that out of being a bugle, we needed to create a channel. So we needed it to pull back. And I had drawn this in here thinking it was going to pull back down to here at this point. But it didn't quite do it at that point. It did it over here, as you can see. So it did create the channel that I had said this morning. those of you guys that were watching this morning with me. I did eventually create that channel, but it was over here. It wasn't this one right here that ended up creating the channel. And we did go through all of these things on the way up. I was saying if it stops here and comes down, right here is where it should bounce. But it went right through all that while we're still trading this morning. It went through all that. And it did 100% retracement, which is what I was talking about here. This high over here. Okay, it did 100% retracement to that, and it bounced down to the bottom of this, creating the channel. And so now I would expect it to get up above this by the end of the session. The leg length, you could go with the whole leg length from here to here, but I would go with this leg length from here to here, figuring out where it should go from here. I would go with this. From there to there, this is what I would use. And it actually stretched it out in time. So let me pull that back and I'll show you what I mean. It stretched it out in time because it took a while. Well, actually, it wasn't that bad. It was from there to there in time. So let's see where that puts us on the day and time. I think it's going to be soon, actually. From there to there, so that puts it at 13:45, right? So 1:45, almost 2 o'clock. We should be up in this area right here, if it's going to continue doing what it shows. All right. I didn't take the question box out. I should probably take that out and see if anybody's got any questions. I don't see a single question yet. Not yet. Okay. All right, let me slide this down here and that down there and that down there and that down there. Shut that off. All right, so that was the NQ. Oh, I didn't go through the individual trades on the NQ, did I? Okay, we didn't have that many trades. Yeah, I did. I did go through the individual trades on the NQ. All right, and that was the NQ today. So let's bring it back up so we can start trading. Okay, so if you have not taken a free trial with us, let me do this again. If you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, no credit card required. And you can see we have some stuff that's rolling out here that's keeping up with the times. Trying to. So we'll get into the trading. All right. And what time is it? 1:13. So I was 2 minutes late, and I'm still going to have more time in this session than yesterday. In the recaps, we'll go down here to the bottom, and the day in. I already have an extra day. All right, so in the next 13 minutes, we should have some trades. We ended up with a minus 14. I'm minus 400 yesterday because we stopped out on the very last trade, I think. Yes, in yesterday's session.
In the very last trade, it was an NQ. Yep.
And that's what I thought. But today, we don't have any trades yet. The ES is the closest one to giving us a trade. And it's in the oversold already. It needs to close down, hit the mid-band, and bounce up is what we'd be looking for right now. Okay. Oh.
Yes, possibility.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. I'm hoping for the yes. It's already in the oversold, so it can't close up. If you get the down close, the next bar has got to hit it and close up.
Yeah.
But things have slowed down quite a bit. I think the last half an hour today, between 3:30 and 4, I think things will liven up quite a bit. But for right now, we have 15 minutes of quiet, probably. If you get this up close on the ES, and it's going to be really quiet. Because that's the closest thing we have to a trade. And there it is. It's going to take it out of the oversold. So now we got to go into the overbought. So we need an up close, 2 down closes, and then an up close on the ES to have a trade. On the NQ, we're pretty close. We need 2 down closes and an up close. On the YM, we need 1 down close and an immediate up close. On the Russell, same thing, 1 down close and then immediate up close. So the Russell and the YM are the closest to giving us trades right now. So for anybody that's watching that doesn't know what I'm talking about, what I am doing when I say that is I'm just saying this is going to screw it up right here. If we would have gotten a down close on that, that would have gotten us into the oversold. and then an up close after that would have got to come out of the oversold and given us a trade. But because we got an up close, it didn't go into the oversold. It actually went down on an up close, which is odd. So now it's probably going to take 2 bars down to get it into the oversold, and then it might be too far away from the midpoint. So we actually got further away from a trade on the Russell. The YM right now, a down close should bring it into the oversold, and then an up close should take it out of the oversold and give us a trade. But you see how tight it is right here between the midpoint and the swing high. It's 1 bar length. It's just about the same over here. It's 1 bar length. So it's shown that the range is really narrow right now. The trading range right now is really narrow. The ES, we need this to close up, get into the overbought, then pull back down and close back up. All right. So right now, I am just waiting. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I don't think anybody does. Hope you all have a great, safe weekend, long weekend. Makes good decisions. Comes back to us on Monday, Tuesday, I guess. Wow. All right, so this is pretty slow. So if I drop this down to a 9 range, it's just as slow on a 9 range, but there's a better chance of us actually having a trade, probably. Mark, would it be okay to sit? All right, so we're pretty close over here now. So with the first down close, now we need the next down close to get us into the oversold, and then the up close after that. We'll have to go straight up. The YM just went right through. I just changed YM to a 9 range. Go back to the 19 and see if that's going to give us anything. It's pretty close. I think the YM is going to go. I think it's going to flip the YBR. I think they're all going down to flip the YBR right here. But we'll see. Just take what we get. Okay. Right. We had a little bit of a gap happening right there, and it happened really fast. Now, in the gap that just happened right there, it actually gave a trade right here on the NQ, but there's no way you could have gotten that trade. It's probably a good thing because it would have stopped out the short right here on the NQ, though. That is a trade you can get if it gives us a down close right here. There it is. And that, I think it already gave me 10 ticks. It actually slipped me and it gave me a little bit more than 10 ticks on this NQ. I'm sorry I didn't have time to bring it over, but the short right there on the NQ on the down close was the trade. The other one's the mid-band's not flat. Now the mid-band over here on the Russell is flat. That could give us a trade. Okay, I'll show you the print on the NQ here in a second, but the Russell right here could give a trade. So I think I have time to bring that DOM over and actually do the whole thing for you. It's already always on top. All right. So this one's got a high of 73.6, so it would be 71.6 right there. 20 ticks below the high of the bar. Okay, that's what I'm selling. 20 ticks below the high of the bar. If it goes up above 73.6, then I'll have to adjust it. But that's where it is right now. All right, and the NQ. If you got in the NQ and it didn't automatically bump your stop to plus 10 as quickly as it did for me. I mean, the whole fill and everything on that was weird, but I'll show it to you right now. I'll show you what I got. I ended up getting more than I thought I was going to get out of it. That's the fill right there. So it was almost 5 points. Almost 4 3/4 points. 19 ticks. It's more than I thought I was going to have. I thought I was going to have 10, but it happened so quick. It filled me. The fill was odd on both ends of that. But it looks like it's going to take it right back here on the Russell. Well, not in the Russell trade. If it were to give me a trade here on the Russell. Okay, it's got a high now of 74.1, so this is going to be up to 2.1. It's got a high of 4.1. Okay, so we got 19 ticks on the Yankee. Let me write that down. We're not in the Russell. The ES doesn't have anything. The YM needs an up close followed by a down close. So the YM could give us a trade right here. It's possible. The NQ needs to finish the cycle. It needs to get all the way down to the bottom. Okay, is this still in the right place? It's got a high of 74.2. What the heck? What was I looking at a minute ago? It's got a high of 74.2, so it should be down to 72.2. Okay, 72.2. The down close is going to happen right here at 72.3. So once that happens, it'll trigger me in right around here. Probably won't be right there. It'll probably be over these couple right here. And there it is. It actually did trigger me in right there. So I'm short at 72.3. Actually, it triggered me in. It slipped me one. The down close. No, it did actually give me right there. That's odd. Okay. That is just odd. And that's the only trade we have right now. So far we've had the one trade on the NQ, and we have this Russell trade right now. We have about 5.5 minutes left, so we'll see how it all
Maybe
pans out.
you can share with the audience what the risk management rules are for a 19 range chart.
Sure. That is right here on trade rules. So the 19 range is listed right here. Now, note that it says 19 range and doesn't say like Russell or YM or anything like that. It's because it doesn't matter what market it is. It's based on the size of the bar. That's one of the other great things about using range bars. I just stopped out on the Russell. That's one of the other great things about using range bars is that you know ahead of time where your stop's going to be. It doesn't matter what market it is. If you're using that range bar, your stop's going to be that far away, like a 25 tick stop. That goes to break even, actually goes break even plus 5 after 10 ticks. I should update that. It goes to break even plus 5 after 10 ticks and it has a 45 tick target. Now that one just stopped me out. I had a 25 tick stop that just got hit. So let me go back over here. Let me write that down. 1 RTY minus 25. So overall, we're minus 6 right now in the session. So we need one more trade somewhere to get that 6 back, hopefully. But if we don't, we don't. We're down 6-6. I'm not going to try to rush anything or create anything that's not really there. premonition on the Russell. Before we entered it, I said it looks like the Russell's going to stop us out and take back those 19 ticks. It did. Right now, the Russell could actually give us a long trade. It's moving, so it could give us a long trade. The YM could actually give us a short trade too, though. The YM is it's at the mid band and it's in the overbought. It's got a high of 79, so that would be down to 59 on that guy. Now everything, Russell's the only one in the green, and the high on that moved up to 81. So you'll be looking at 61 on the YM. Now that number keeps moving up, and the NQ just flipped into the green too. Okay, so the YM could still be a trade, even now, could still be a trade. It's not quite there yet. So 20 ticks below the top of the bar. This is flipping the YBR. This flipped the YBR. That flipped the YBR. I really don't want this trade on the YM. But if it happens, it happens. It's got a high of 89, so you'd be selling 69 on that. Your chart doesn't match mine. Do you have a green dot right there, Bart?
He says, yeah.
Do you have a 19 range?
And are you on the correct contract?
Yeah, what part doesn't match up? Send me a screenshot. I can probably help you with that. We only have about a minute and a half left, but still send me a screenshot and I'll see if I can help you out. All right, no trade on the YM. That's good. I didn't want to have one there. So everything gapped up, and everything over here, the ES is, not the ES, but the NQ is going up to that level even sooner than I thought. Oh, it almost got up there. It almost got up there right in the time span that I had looked at. So now we're pretty close here, pretty close to having a trade. I don't know what just happened, because right now the NQ is just about untradeable. It's starting to come back together, but a minute ago there were just blank spaces everywhere. Let's see. The YM just had a trade and it just gave me 5 ticks. Sorry, I'll show you the print on that in a second. I think it gave me 5 ticks. Maybe it gave me 6. We'll see. Yeah. Nope, it was just 5. I will show you the print on that in a minute, but I want to take another trade here if we can, because right now we're only 1 tick away from being positive, and we have 39 seconds. I got 139. Now we have 30. Down close followed by an up close on this one. 2 down closes followed by an up close on that one. 2 down closes followed by an up close on that one. 2 down closes followed by an up close on that one. So it took just a few more bars to get here. But because there's no time element associated with it, it kind of throws it off a little bit. But it looks like, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up here. I do have another meeting coming right up, so I can't stay any longer. But maybe I can stay just a minute, because every one of them is about to give a trade right here. Yes, if it gives an up close, then it's going to wreck it. The NQ still has a chance. YM still has a chance, and the Russell needs a down close to hit the mid band and then an up close. The YM needs 2 down closes and then an up close. The S is too far away. The Russell's really close. Okay, so there we are with the Russell. We just need the up close on that now. Just need the up close. And it's got a low here of 82. And that low just got lower. It's got a low here of 81.5, 81.3. Just need the up close. it's going to go here 81 up to 83 now. 81 to 83. I'm just going to give it a second here. Because
I'm in no hurry.
okay. I just got a text message about my next meeting, and there it is. There's the up close, and I was just going to lock in some profit on that. Enough. Okay, when I get up there. Yeah, I had enough there just a second ago to get us positive. Get up there again. I'm going to go to break even and then bump it up. There it is. There, 2 ticks. We're positive.
Should run to 87.
Yeah, it should run all the way up here to 87 to the prior swing high. It should, but I just wanted to get us positive on the session overall. So that puts us. Now we had the 1 on the YM. That was a +5. And then we just had 2 there. That puts us at -23 there. All right. So we're positive overall. So let me fill out the thing over here. This is what I was trying to do. I want to be green on this day. 97th day, it's 522. And on the NQ, we are +19. On the Russell, we are -23. On the YM, we are +5. Okay, so that should put us in positive territory here, 50 bucks. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, 1 stop out. And it was 15 minutes. So we'll carry this, copy, paste, and this becomes a 97. All right, so that brings the average down a little bit. But this is how we did it in this session. We had 4 trades with 1 stop out. +19 on the NQ. We were -23 overall on the Russell. We were -25 once and +2 once. And +5 on the YM. I didn't show you the YM trade, but we did get a +5. And that puts us at +50 overall with 10 contracts, or +5 with 1. 75% of our trades are break even or better. We took 4 with 1 stop out. And so on the 97 days that we've been keeping track of this, we're averaging just under 15 minutes of trading time and the goal for the day. A little more than the goal for the day in those 15 minutes, $114 a contract. All right. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button right here. That is going to bring you to this registration page. On this page, I'll be asked for your name, your email, and your phone number. Do all that, and we'll get everything indicating on your desktop for you as soon as possible. All right? All right. And with that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking the South Mountain, America's largest city park. That way is just about ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Screen didn't refresh?
Yep, it is.
Okay.
I can see it. Yep.
Recap of the morning session.
Today took 23 minutes and 6 trades to get to $3,100.
Good job. All right, guys, I covered all the markets in granular fashion. I covered all the alerts in granular fashion. I told you how to become a member. We even did our good word for the day. So, I'm done. If you missed any part of today's broadcast, give it 10 minutes after I sign off here in about 1 minute. Go to youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. youtube.com/CFRN, and you can watch today's broadcast in its entirety, or you can fast forward up to whatever part you have an interest in, whether it's the recap of the live training room or when Michael actually started trading. It's entirely up to you. Currently on our YouTube channel, we have over 3,000 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. A reminder, we will not be here Monday in observance of Memorial Day. So we shall see you on not Sunday night at the Open, but Monday night at the Open. Now, other countries don't celebrate Memorial Day. So the Globex markets will be open, but it'll be thin, holiday trade. Sometimes on a Sunday night, on a 4-day weekend, I do put out some alerts, but I'm not gonna this time. I'm just going to recommend that you take the long weekend, rest up, get ready for next week. Now, when the markets open Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, that's when you'll get your Logic 247 alerts, you'll get your concierge trade alerts. And when Monday's a holiday, the weekly trading zones don't come out till Tuesday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Normally they're published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. But when there's a Monday holiday, they come out Tuesday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So have a great, safe weekend, and on Memorial Day, take a moment to think about all those brave men and women who gave their lives for your freedom. The freedoms that we all too often take for granted. The freedoms that people like AOC and Hakeem Jeffries want to take away from us. Love you much. See ya on the internet. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.